Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 7 of the 42nd Chess Olympiad in Baku, Azerbaijan. Oh, what a great tournament. Oh, 100 plus countries, 1,000 plus players, beautiful playing hall. Those of you that want to see any of the action, go to livestream.com and then the search punch in this 42nd Chess Olympiad, and it gives you all the rounds, all the coverage. Really great, clear HD pictures as well. Anyway, this is a game between China and England. And as white for China is Chao Li, and as black, someone we all know and I like a lot, Nigel Short. It's a hell of a game, I'll tell you. For an old guy, Nigel does pretty good. These young Chinese guys are tough. So let's get to it. Li is white. Nigel Short is black. It's going to be a Nimzo Indian. We'll just go through the opening a little bit. I don't go into too much detail on the opening. Like I said, Short is black and Li is white. Typical Nimzo stuff. I'm not an opening expert by any means, but C takes, pawn, castles, knight. Now it's going to start getting weird here pretty quick. This is pretty much standard stuff. Rook C1, A6. Let's go back here. I'm not really sure that it's one of the moves. Bishop D7 is one of the computer choices, which I'm really surprised about, frankly. Yeah, Nigel just didn't want that knight to come in. That'd be a pain in the behind. Knight E5, rook. And, of course, going to follow through. And the Chinese player is playing fairly aggressive. He's going for it. Now, if you remember, China won the gold medal in the Chess Olympiad 2 years ago in the last Chess Olympics. So they're defending champions. Knight to F8. Interesting move there. I'm not really sure. Maybe Nigel wants to go knight to G6. Chase that knight off. Bishop E1. C5. Go right after white center. Just go after it. Bishop H4, pinning that knight. That's pretty annoying pin. C4, hitting the bishop. Bishop comes back. Now, nothing can really attack that knight. Yeah, granted, this knight could back off and hit it. Then this knight just comes over here, so it's not the end of the world. Consolidate his pawns a little bit on the queen side. And Li Chao goes G4. He's coming for him. Here it comes. Here comes the attack. Queen to B6. Getting rid of the pin at the same time, protecting the knight. Nice. G5. Here he comes. Knight goes to E4. Knight takes, pawn takes. Queen E2. Alright. Little weird position. A lot of space for black on the queen side and a lot of space for white on the king side. Unfortunately for Nigel, he's castled on the king side. Let's see how it works out. And by the way, the computer basically shows this position as dead even. Bishop D5. Now that's really a large pawn right now, but it's protecting two very important pawns. That bishop. So it's not really worthless. It's doing something important. Queen over. Here comes the other pawn. Knight D7. Trying to get rid of that knight. He just backs him off. He needs him in the attack. Nigel decides just as good as king right out of the action. Puts him in the corner. Now bishop G3. Rook A to C8. And queen H3. Now, look at all the pieces coming up on black's king. Let's see if Nigel can cover this attack. F6. Covers the E5 square. That's probably the main reason. Either this knight or this bishop can jump in here. But it comes at a price. G6. Now, of course, Nigel can't take. And if he goes pawn here, there's sacrificing the knight in the future, then comes that, and it's over. Knight to f8. Knights are a very good defending pieces, as we can see. I think it's the old Bent Larson, the old player from the Fisher days, said put a knight on f8, you cannot mate. As crazy as this position is, of course, computers give just hard, cold evaluations. Human beings, we see pressure, we feel pressure. It's a tiny advantage right here for black, technically. I think it's a little easier play for white, but we're going to see how this works out. Whoops, excuse me, knight to f8. Rook f2, jumped the gun there a second, sorry. Rook c6, and white doubles up the rooks. Interesting might have been queen to h5, and after b3, these are all computer choices here. Not so sure if that does white any good yet or not. a5. Here comes Nigel on the queen side. Rook to g2, slowly but surely. White is building up. a4, Nigel presses on. Rook f4. Now we're looking at knight coming back, rook coming over. Right on the king, it's over. c3. Nigel presses on. Pawn takes, bishop takes. This one I was a little surprised at, frankly. Bishop h4. All kinds of weird stuff going on here. Bishop takes maybe, or knight takes. Pawn takes. Pawn up here. Now you got the rook and the queen here. It gets complicated. But Nigel is slowly goes queen b6. Not a care in the world. Pawn takes. Now rook e7. Now that pawn takes, I believe, was a mistake. That's just me. And the computer calls for it. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. If you notice now, this pawn is now guarding the black king. Granted, there's a lot of stuff coming down on him, but that pawn being there actually is a traitor to his own side because he's guarding the black king. Rook e7. Knight e5. Now this is where Nigel, I think, makes a mistake. We're on move 33. I don't think he was in time trouble. Computer calls for rook to d6, which isn't really much of a move. Queen c7 is probably more accurate. He took the knight. Now it's an almost 2-point advantage for white. The bishop takes. Pawn takes. Bishop takes. Believe it or not, that's a mate threat. How a weird mate is this? Bishop takes, pawn, mate. With a king in the corner and a pawn and a bishop and a rook and a queen on the files. I don't think I've ever seen a mate like that before. Bishop takes, guarding the g7 pawn. And this is where I think white blows it. Almost everything here is winning. Almost everything here is winning. Just a simple move like king to h1 or queen to h5. And it did a very human move. A very human move. And that's where he usually gets us. Queen to g4. A very human move. Starting mating too. Bishop takes. Well, the king can take here, but it's still over. But what happens is, rook to c7, just that casually. And now, it's almost a 6-point advantage for black. Instantly. Queen h5, f3. Here it comes. Rook up. Bishop e5. Let's go back here. I think this is where Nigel makes a mistake. Should probably play queen to h6 just to get rid of that queen. Bishop takes e3 check, or rook to e7. Any one of those, and he wins. He goes bishop e5. And according to the computer, that's drawn. Queen to e8 is white's move. And we're on move 38, so I'm assuming Li Chao from China is white was in time trouble. He goes bishop c5, hitting the queen. A lot of problems here. Queen takes. Check. Bishop comes back. Queen mates. Or the king can take this pawn here. Now he's out in the open. What a mistake for white. Now it's black's game again. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's great chess to watch, but it must be nerve-wracking to play. Now he goes queen e8. King takes. Queen takes the bishop. White's up a piece right now, but white is doomed. Rook takes. Queen e7. Pawn checks. King comes up. He can't really take it. All kinds of stuff coming in. Queen check here. Check here. What's he going to do? King takes. Queen checks. And that's the end. Tough break for the kid. According to the computer, it's mate in 9 if he goes rook to g2. Tough break for the kid. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So England, surprise victory over defending gold medalist China. 3-1 in a 4-game match. Congratulations. Mickey Adams also won. I know Luke McShane, he drew, I believe. I met Luke McShane once at the World Open in 2010. Nice guy. Probably the best amateur player in the world, or close to it. He doesn't play chess professionally anymore. He works in finance in London, and frankly, I can't blame him. There's probably good money there. But anyway, folks, congratulations to Nigel on walking a tightrope. Series of mistakes, but the way it goes is whoever makes the last mistake loses. Look for more action from the Chess Olympiad coming up. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.